good as Donald Trump. Donald Trump authorized it.
He's living rent-free in the Democrats' head 15 months after leaving office. They are so obsessed with Donald Trump, they are missing their opportunity to try to save the election because they're not talking about all the issues that were just laid out in the segment before us, right? Baby formula, gas prices, inflation, the border, crime. They're going to lose this election because they're letting Donald Trump still live in their head. Here's the big thing. There are some big developments going on tonight that I just want to tell you about real quickly. Rodney Davis, ranking Republican member, just sent a letter to Benny Thompson saying, all the evidence you have, preserve it. Make sure it's cataloged, because if we get in power, we're going to go through it and tell us if you're finding out the truth. Second thing I'm hearing from several Capitol Hill police tonight that they've gone and done a review of these security tapes to find out if this Congressman Loudermilk was actually casing the joint. That's one of those crazy allegations are made. They can't find any evidence of it. Let's see if that plays out in the next couple of days. Those will be two major stains on the committee if they drop the ball on both.
That's going to be interesting. So a preservation letter has been sent out for what, to every committee member to save every text, every email, all communications?
Yeah, and I know that there are from the police. I know there are large numbers of text messages between the police and Pelosi staff. Those may be the holy grail of where Republicans finally found out what really happened here that night.
Well, any chance you get that? You got the timeline when nobody else did, and by the way, perfect timing on that.
Keep digging.
Yeah,
thank you.
Kash,
we'll keep digging.
What else might we learn in terms of your department, the Department of Defense, and your efforts to protect the Capitol that were ignored? What else might we learn about Donald Trump's efforts to protect the Capitol that nobody had been talking about?
I want to juxtaposition the lead up to the January 6th, and we've already covered that, versus what happened on January 6th and afterwards. One thing I highlighted was the failure to install a no-climb fence around the perimeter to secure border. We secured it, I as Chief of Staff of DOD, overnight and installed it on January 6th. They could have done that. They refused to do so. Now, turning back to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, I think what you're going to learn is their activities on January 6th, the same people that didn't want a single National Guardsmen and women called me and the Secretary of Defense at DOD and said, we want crew-serviced weapons and armored tanks to protect the Capitol from that time on until inauguration. A crew-served weapon is an armor-plated carrier.
Who called you and asked for what?
The leadership at the Congress all of a sudden wanted every National Guard men and women that we had, and they wanted armor-plated vehicles with belt-fed machine guns through the inauguration, along with M1 Abrams tanks. And these are why Americans can't stand this political leadership. We, as the national security apparatus of the DOD, executed the mission apolitically, and all they wanted to do was politicize it.
We now know, because of John's reporting, that the Guard was offered first by your department on January 2nd. When did Nancy Pelosi finally say okay to the Guard? What time was that?
It's in our DOD timeline, which has been published. I think it's late afternoon on January 6th. And then, of course, they wanted us to magically deploy 15,000 armed men and women over in an instance. I want to remind your audience, our deployment of the National Guard was the fastest cold start since World War II, and it was the largest occupation by soldiers in uniform since the Civil War. We did it appropriately for Biden's own DOD IG.
Wow. They overpromised, they underdelivered, and they missed the big story, which is the incredible failure in terms of security that you were begging to give to them, and they didn't take it when they had the opportunity. Kash, thank you. John, thank you. That's all the time we have left.